Do you want a career in real estate? Have you ever wondered how to get started? Stay tuned for this episode to hear Harry Larcos' story. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Burgio, Harry Larcos, episode 1700. I love it when it's a round number.
Nice big number.
Nice big number. Could real estate be your next career? It's one of those things where I always hear from, especially teenagers, people in their early 20s, they are very interested in real estate. And a lot of people at one stage of their life want to get started. However, a lot of people don't know the pathways or know someone to speak to how to get started. So this morning, we did one a couple of weeks ago, myself and Mark, a bit of my journey, how I started at reception. But this morning, it's all about Harry. And first of all, Harry, good morning, first of all.
Good morning. It's a bit chilly.
It is. Now, real estate, had this been something you wanted to do for years before coming in, or was it you saw the opportunity and I go, let's give that a crack and sort of grew into it?
Yeah. I guess I saw the opportunity. Real estate wasn't something I always wanted to do. Finishing high school, I was actually coming from an ethnic background. My parents wanted me to, go through university, get some sort of degree and sort of something to fall back on in case, I was made redundant for whatever reason in the future. But no, real estate was not always on the books to start off my career with. So finished my HSC, finished high school, I had, a part-time job for, a couple months. And then I got my job in real estate through my best friend's mum, who was on the phone to one of our property managers. They were doing like a maintenance work order. And my best friend's mum knew I was trying to get into real estate at the time because I was sort of shifting my my career path to real estate. And I don't know what happened over the phone. They exchanged words. And anyway, next thing I know, they arranged a meeting with Tina and our head of property management, Branka. And I got the job literally from that meeting, started work and haven't stopped since. Started in property management.
I can imagine you when you started and you're looking at what the real estate roles are, was it, you didn't start in sales straight away, but is that where you wanted to get to? Did you know at least that at the beginning, or you came in not knowing what roles are in real estate?
I did come with an open mind that real estate was something I wanted to do regardless of what position. Throughout my time in property management, I saw the sales
team. Property
management
is. So let's explain what property management is. So there's really two sides to real estate. You've got the sales side of properties, buying, selling, and then you've got the property management side is when someone's bought a property, it's an investment. They, instead of looking after it themselves, everyone's busy with their life, they're working. It's virtually a second job. You want it to be a passive investment, not a second job. So you would engage a company like Novak. We manage just under 2,000 residential and commercial properties. And that property management team is a beast where your head of property management like Branka or Tina, and that would be from rental collection, fixing lights, taps, finding new tenants within it. So there's a lot in that property management role. So what did you start doing initially in property management?
I had the privilege and opportunity of working with Tina, which we managed a portfolio of around 300-400 properties. So I definitely got to experience, all the ins and outs, and a portfolio of 300 or 400 is quite tricky. There's lots of moving parts, lots of things happening on a day-to-day basis. But I got to learn every single aspect of property management, which is the thing that I benefited the most. I wasn't just dialed in on one aspect like the leasing or the maintenance or the rent collection. I got to do and, take care of that whole property
And what were some of
management
those
role.
roles? What were some of them?
Um, so some of them was leasing, so finding a tenant for a property, doing open inspections, interacting with prospective tenants, doing
Getting
applications,
offers.
getting offers, and the whole process and journey of finding a tenant from an open inspection to leasing it to them and doing references and application checks. And then you had the
That's a pretty
maintenance.
good, that's a good little footstep into the door for sales. Like
Yeah,
residential leasing, you're still doing open homes, you're still selling the
yeah,
property. A lot of people think like nearly everything is sales. You look at the chair you're sitting on, you're looking at the clothes you wore, someone sold that to them.
yeah,
It's like a lot of people just say like you're a car salesman or you're selling real estate, but the person making your suits is selling their suits. The person taking your order at Domino's is trying to sell you that pizza or upsize that Coke. So if you look at every aspect of a learning experience, I think a lot of young agents just want to get straight into sales and they may take for granted and we'll get into it as well, what you're learning right now. Because I could probably imagine there's a lot of stuff like you've been in sales a good amount of time now, doing really well, doing lots of deals. And I can imagine there's parts that you go, wow, I didn't realize I valued what I was learning that when I was
yeah.
learning it. But that's definitely helped. But so you're doing open homes, leasing, taking offers. What else?
Maintenances, if there's a leaking tap, a hot water system's burst, the roof's fallen off, which actually has happened in the past, to
Yes.
be honest. You see it all in property management.
Yep.
You take care of the whole maintenance side of things. So any issues structurally or anything wrong with the property, I'm on the phone dialing to calling all the tradies, and calling the landlords and keeping them up to date. And then everything from rent collection, if there's um,
Yep.
people falling behind on their rent. Yeah,
And I suppose where that's very valuable is like we were both young when we came in. It's not like we owned a property prior. So
yeah,
learning that is learning what's involved with owning a property because I can
yeah,
assure you a buyer is going to have these questions. There's not so much at the moment with investors in the marketplace with the budget
mm,
proposal changes, but
yeah,
historically at an open home, half the buyers coming through would be investors. And yes, they want to know about the price of that property they're buying, but they also want to know what would it rent for. If they're a first home buyer, and which we get a lot of them at the moment, especially with all the incentives out there, they're going to want to know what's involved with owning a property. And because you've got that experience, you actually come off a lot more experienced to
yeah,
them than someone who may have just sort of skipped that whole role into it.
yeah,
And then what I found with especially sales, a lot of people think it's like having the fancy dialogue or that one
yeah,
liner to convince anyone to buy a property. But it's what I've learned. It's really just answering the questions, finding the information, getting them answers, and you don't even if you don't deliver the answer nicely, well, I mean, with perfect dialogue, it's more just getting the answer to them. The biggest complaint buyers, landlords, tenants have is the agent not getting back to them. And a part of
yeah,
that is laziness, and a part of that is lack of knowledge. So you've done like a little trial run on half the business, which will definitely pay it forward in sales. So
yeah.
let's fast track through property management. Now you're in sales. How has that been? What was it? Not what you thought before you started here at Novak. when you'd been in the company for a little while, you'd seen people do sales, and now it's your chance. Did you have a perception how it would be, what you would be doing, and then what was reality like?
Well, I definitely, I always knew it was going to be hard. I knew it wasn't just going to be a walk in the park. I knew I wasn't
Not a
going
nine
to
to
be
five job.
it's not a 9 to 5, and you'll learn that very, very quickly. Um, and it's not something you learn overnight, which I think was the frustrating thing for me, because I'm the type of person to like to get good at something very quickly if I commit myself to it. But it's something that you just learn and you get better, by experience and through time. So that's probably one of the biggest things that was, I wouldn't say frustrating. I was just very eager to learn everything and anything very quickly. Um, the job itself, working in sales, it's quite, I much prefer it than property management. I think it's much more suited to my personality and what I ultimately wanted to end up doing in the company anyway. So sales, I've been doing it for the last officially around 6 or 7 months now. So definitely been enjoying it. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. Working in a sales job, whether it's in real estate or whether it's in, another sales position, um, it's a very emotional roller coaster. And I think, you'll probably have a few words to say about that too, Burge.
Yeah.
Not every deal's pretty.
No, and and it's one of those things like is your when someone engages a sales agent to sell their home, a lot of the time it could be through, I almost call it the 3Ds. Like you got death, divorce, disputes. They're a
Yeah,
big factor why someone's engaged us. And that's not a great time of their life. Then there's the great examples where the family's getting bigger, they're relocating. But all of that is highly emotional for both
yeah,
parties. Then on the buyer side as well, just the nerves, buying a biggest asset, like going from potentially nothing to taking on $1 million debt, $2
yeah,
million debt, buying a house, moving. And there's lots of not necessarily like hidden costs, but there's lots of costs. You're paying strata fees, you're paying lawyers, you got removed, like there's a lot going on. And also I think so that just adds, so your emotions go up and down as well, because you're hearing a lot of the stories. Like a lot of the time, you're almost like say to your barber or your hairdresser, they're a little bit like a therapy session, because people just vent when you're sitting in that chair and they're locked in for half an hour
yeah.
or 3 hours for the ladies. But a little bit like that as a real estate agent. So that's one big side of it, which can be really, really draining. Then on the other side of it, there's almost two different DNAs for a property management. They're normally very organized, very just organized is the best.
Very
Uh,
resilient, I think, is
yeah,
a
very
very good word to
resilient.
describe a property manager.
Yes, they don't like. It's one of those things where it's like everything's got to be planned out. Don't like surprises.
Yeah,
But on sales sides, we're typically very unorganized. Always go, go, go. Always glass half full. Very optimistic. We love the chase of a deal. Working like it's 1,000 no's to get one yes. It's
yep,
you calling your owner saying, I called these 1,000 buyers, they said no, they said yes, showed them through. Like you're part of that sales journey, and there's nothing more emotional than working weeks, days, months on a deal. You think it's about to go ahead for the client, and it falls through, and you're just like gutted. And then you have days where they go ahead and you're high as a kite on, your endorphins are popping. You're like you won't be able to sleep for days. You're just so happy. And then on the
yeah.
flip side, there's deals where it just makes you want to go to bed and curl up in a
I,
ball.
I think I think something that I learnt actually happened very, very recently. It's like it's a deal that fell off, but I think what the most frustrating thing is as a new agent is when a deal falls off and you've done everything perfect and everything right, and it's something that wasn't even your fault. It was just the situation with the buyer, or it was just the circumstance, and you couldn't control anything, and it just fell off just due to
Mark's got a good saying.
circumstance.
It was he may have got it from someone else, but he says the operation was a success, but the patient still died. And you hear that all the time in medicine. Like the procedure went
Very
well. We
true.
didn't like it's not like we nicked an artery and they like everything went well, right? But unfortunately they still died. And all you can do in real estate is do that. Do right by people, get them the answers, get them the information, be transparent, and fingers crossed it goes ahead. But it's still a bit of a bit of a punch to the gut when it falls
Yeah,
through. It's really that saying, like, I love, what is it, Conor McGregor's, you win or you learn. And that's what it is. I've learned more
yeah,
from all the deals that have fallen through than I have from all the ones that have
correct.
gone ahead. And that's the key. That's what makes you a better agent. So, but just before we wrap up, what would be, I think, a big part of it for someone out there listening who wants to get into real estate? What Harry's described is not usual, that opportunity, because most companies, we manage 2,000 properties. Most companies manage 200, 500. So instead of having a property management structure where you got your head property manager and people under, and you can be doing different roles, like in some companies, there's 3 roles: property
Yeah,
manager, sales agent, reception. Yeah, fingers that way. And I was the reception. Where here at Novak, we have marketing, we have leasing, we have reception, we have helpers around the office, we have buyer's agent roles, we have the lister role. There's a lot of roles within. So a lot of people may be like, I don't know what I like. I don't know if my personality is the sales side or the leasing side. Then there's roles where it's like, okay, I love sales, but I'm not there at getting the listings, but I'm great with the buyers. Can I focus on
yeah,
buyers? And in traditional offices, that doesn't exist. You either list or you're not a sales agent. So you've got that benefit there. And it's a lot of the time, and you have the great attitude coming in, similar to I did. It's like, I just want to work here. I don't care where I start. I started at reception. And same as you,
yeah.
I wanted to do the best. I learned the cafe art, how to do a love heart with the coffee, how to do a yin yang. Like, I wanted to learn
I've,
it all. And
I've still
I
yet
met,
to overcome that.
yeah, I met some of my best clients to today from at the front desk, saying hello to them, talking to them. And it's always great. Like, we've got a lot of Serbian ethnics in the office. So there's always that sit down coffee. We used to have all the salami in the fridge as well. So you can really build rapport. And that's what real estate is. Like, I don't look at it as a job or career. It's more just a lifestyle where
Yeah,
yes, there's times where you got to lock yourself in the room and just do those calls, get those letterbox drops out. But a lot of the part where I love it's like you're showing a cafe in Manly, and then you might be doing a meeting with them, having a coffee, and you're walking down the street and you're seeing people you dealt with. And it's a beautiful industry, and you're living where you work. So you're not driving an hour, and it's
yeah.
right under your nose. I love that part of it as well. But Harry, just to end on, any tips, recommendations for anyone out there listening who was in your shoes a couple of years ago?
As simple and as blunt as it is, just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Honestly, but I mean, like, and it's such simple advice, but the amount of people, I mean, I don't know how many people end up watching this, but the amount of people that will think of
Thousands.
something, they'll vision it, they'll visualize it 100 times over, but don't end up doing it
Yeah.
is like,
But would
it's
you also
unfortunate.
say just do it, but also don't have the attitude it's not a 9 to 5 job? So
It is,
you've
it
got to be
isn't.
open.
You've
It
got
can
to,
be, what's that saying? It's the highest paid hard work, but it's the lowest paid hard work, where you could
yeah,
be doing 80 hours a week earning 500 grand a year, but you could also be doing 80 hours a week earning 60 grand a year, and it's like, maybe you should look at a different career, and then it's not there. So but you've also got to remember, I know, especially like younger people, they want everything now. I had the attitude coming into real estate, like electrical apprenticeship, 4 years of learning. If I make $1, great. If I don't, I'm learning. I'm going to learn everything, and then I'm in it forever. Like, if I'm doing this for 60 years, what's an extra year or two to absorb everything, rather than sort of fumbling my way into sales and not being as good at it because I don't understand the business, and not doing deals and falling out. Like, real estate has one of the largest drop-offs. I think it's like 80% of people quit after 1 year. So congrats, you've got past that. But it's a lot of people, I think, just sort of go, I don't know, they needed to hear something like this where they go in with the wrong expectations, or it just doesn't work. But as Harry said, just do it.
Just do it. And you need to be prepared to be very resilient in the line of work that we do, because it will play with your emotions big time. And it will play with your emotions. There'll be days where you'll be off your chair, happy because you've done your first couple of deals, and then there'll be other days where you've had 3 deals lined up. It's actually happened quite recently, and they all just not you're out of your control, but they've and then you've lost all 3 at one day. So you've got to be very emotionally resilient to come back the next day, or with a better attitude, and then go, okay, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to get another 3 deals, and then I'm going to get another 3 deals until one of them eventually goes through.
Yeah.
So
one of Mark's clients gave him the advice of just keep answering the phone. And then he told me that. And I remember that, because there's nothing harder when a deal falls through and your phone rings. It's not always easy to pick that up and start. So just do it. Keep answering the phone. But that's it. We've gone long enough. Harry, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. See ya.